identity itself is an illusion. Who you currently identify as is nothing but a summary of narratives and stories. And that is so liberating because technically we have the power in any given moment to decide to shift any narratives that you tell yourself about yourself. Let's say you identify as somebody who is insecure and you're like back and forth about whether or not you can make your dream life happen, right? Imagine if you just allowed yourself right now to decide, actually, I am her. I am the version of me living in that reality that is going to result in what I see in my mind's eye. What if you decided that right now? And what if you persisted in that? How do you think your life would look different in a few months? Genuinely, like sit and reflect with that, because at the end of the day, I do believe it's true that our current material circumstances are nothing but a reflection of who we were a few months ago, right? There's like this lag time and things need to catch up. And I believe that's really true because I've seen that in my own life. And any physical changes in my life always begin first with the internal change. A quick example that I'll give is I used to really identify as somebody shy. Like that used to be my whole identity. To the point where I was almost like a pick-me about it. I'm like, oh, I'm that shy, interesting girl. Turns out I'm not actually that shy. Who knew? And the first step to now getting to a space where I don't resonate with the word shy at all. I first had to question that belief, that identity of shy. Where did that come from? Who told me that I was that? Do I agree with that? Can I decide to disagree with that? And as soon as I questioned it, I realized that it was just a narrative, that it was just a story, and that I could decide to not be shy. I could decide to be a social girl. I could decide to be somebody who is open to connection and vulnerability, somebody who smiles at strangers on the street, somebody who is that weird girl who will talk to anybody, And that if people do see that as weird or strange or too open, that knowing that that's them being triggered, that's their projection. And so whatever that is for you, maybe you want to be a musician, but you currently identify as, I'm somebody who works in retail part-time and wants to be a musician. Start saying to people, I'm a musician, and the retail comes second, right? Because your words are spells, and what you affirm to other people and to yourself internally and externally is what is then true for your inner world. And like I just said, your inner world is what eventually becomes your outer world. It just takes some time. And so imagine what would happen if you started introducing yourself as a musician. It would then feel a lot easier and a lot more natural to maybe as soon as you get home from work to hop on the mic because, well, you're a full-time musician. You know what I mean? And this isn't just hearsay. This is based in a psychological thing that I don't know the proper word for. I believe it's something like the law of sustainment or something like that, which essentially speaks to this notion that if there's any type of conflict with the internal way that you identify and what you're externally trying to do, like the actions you're externally trying to make, it's going to be nearly impossible to sustain that because it inherently feels like there's a friction going on there. It inherently feels not true for you. For example, if you identify as somebody who is not a fit person, going to the gym every time you go to the gym is going to feel like something that doesn't already fit with your identity. It's still good to be showing up to the gym, but now imagine if you shifted your identity first and you told yourself, I'm a fit person. It would then be a natural response for you every morning after you wake up, to go to the gym, for that to be the first thing in your day. It just becomes a part of the script of what that identity would do, right? And I know I've seen this for me in my own life. So whatever identity you're trying to step into, whatever version of you, whatever identity has the dream life that you are seeking to have, Ask yourself, what words would that version of you use to describe themselves? Maybe it's confident, self-assured, unapologetic, creative, expressive, authentic, loud, seen, disciplined, loving, in love with themselves, in love with life, right? All of these things. And then begin affirming to yourself that you are those things already. And not just affirming, but knowing. We all have everything we need within us to launch into any direction, to expand into any direction, to be anything and be anybody that we want to be. So it's not just this game of like convincing yourself of something that's not true. No, like it is already true about you. Like it is true that you are that version of you. It's only you that is insisting that you have to keep telling yourself these old stories that is holding you back from then embodying and being that version of you who you can already be right now. Like you can already be the confident, unapologetic, not afraid of being seen version of you right now. You just have to decide to step outside of that shell of old stories. Just step outside of it. Leave it behind, let it crumble. Thank you for your service to that old version of me, but I got it from here, right? And then moving through life with those identifiers of I am somebody who speaks my mind. When I'm in a room and somebody says something that I strongly disagree with, I'm not afraid to stand up for myself or to say what I need to say. That I am somebody who prioritizes expression and creativity because I know it fills my cup. I know it's what I'm here to do. And as soon as you identify with those types of things, those are just a couple of examples, as soon as you identify with it, it feels then natural to do the actions that follow. Like just right now, experiment with it in your mind. What is it you want to be? Do you want to be confident? Do you want to be healthy? Do you want to be open? Do you want to be paid for doing what you love to do, for being an artist, for being the creator that you are? And now imagine that you are that, and actually know that you are that right now. You literally just have to decide it. That's the only shift that needs to happen. Now, the challenge comes in persisting, right? Because we can have these powerful moments in the present, but when things surface that are still reflectors of your old identity, right? Like, for example, your physical surroundings, people in your life that still try to tell you who you are, etc., etc. Every time something like that presents itself to you, maybe it's, being hyper aware of your surroundings and being hyper aware that you're not in the physical environment you want to be in. Or maybe it's somebody saying something to you that you don't internally identify with anymore. Maybe you're joking with your friend about how broke you are. Maybe that's something you would do a lot. And they're trying to joke with you like that, like old times, but you internally now identify as somebody wealthy, overflowing with abundance and wealth. In that moment, you have two options: to go along with the joke, to cast that spell with your words, or to say, actually, no, like, why are we talking like this? Like, imagine if we were rich right now. Like you have the power in that moment to switch over to that new identity. And every time you do that, every time you make that decision of identifying with your new identity and acting as if you are already that, because you are, every time you do that, you get that much closer to your dream life. And it's in persisting that you get there. And I'm talking to myself too. Oh, and that's what I said. I'm talking to myself too as I say this, because it's not easy. It's easy when you're with yourself and you're in your own space and you're talking to yourself on your MacBook. But when you step out into the world and you're met with old friends, you're met with your parents calling you, you're met with your current surroundings, your current job, your current apartment, it's hard to still mentally stay in the identity of you who has everything that you are desiring. But imagine if you persisted in that identity. Reality has no choice but to obey that. Not in some like crazy mystical way. Like, this isn't magic. Or it is, depending on how you want to look at it. But like, just practically too. Like, if you choose to shift your identity and you live the rest of your life acting out every day as that identity, isn't it inevitable that your surroundings are going to change, that the people in your life are going to change? Maybe some friendships will end, maybe new ones will begin, you know? Isn't that inevitable? Yes, is the answer. You know, I can only reference my own life, but in my own life, this has been so true. As I have opened my heart more, the amount of connections and opportunities that flood in and have opened up for me in a short period of time is kind of mind-boggling. And I know that it's only because I made that internal shift first. I didn't move. I mean, I did move like a couple months ago, but I mean, like, even within those couple months that I've already been living here, almost 3 months now, in the last month or so, I really began like opening my heart. And so what I'm trying to say is my physical surroundings haven't changed in the last month, but the opportunities, the people have. Only because I internally opened more to them and allowed what feels true and good for me to be something that I lean towards instead of fearing, right? Because it's contradictory, but the things that are meant for us often can feel scary because our nervous system is still stuck in that old identity and still feels safe in that old identity of the shy girl, you know, of the good girl, the agreeable girl. Whatever the wound is for you, whatever the old identity is for you, your nervous system adapted to what it feels like to exist in that identity. And so to open your heart and step into what actually lights you up and feels exciting and expansive for you is fucking terrifying for your body. Like, you on a soul level know that's what you want, what you need on a soul level. But your body is yelling at you, this is not who you are. And so that's why also nervous system regulation is really important when it comes to shifting into your new identity and following through with it, right? Because like I talked about, manifesting really is just a congruence between your inner world and your thoughts, feelings, behaviors, and actions, right? When those things are all synergetically aligned, life naturally flows in the way that you want it to go. It's only when we create those frictions again, right? When we go along with that brokenness joke, for example, that's one more barrier to our dream life. And that's not to make yourself feel guilty about little blips. Like, we always have infinite opportunities to pass the new test and step into the new identity, right? But imagine what would happen if you, quote unquote, passed every test. If every time you wanted to say something to someone, you actually said it. If every time you wanted to make a creative project, you actually made it. Like, imagine. And that's what it means to allow source, spirit, whatever you want to call it, to flow through you. That's what it means. That's what flow state is literally just listening to your intuition and allowing it. That's what surrendering means. That's what letting go means. It's all about, we all already know on a deep, deep level what we want, what we need. But then actually listening to that is another story, and it's not easy because we do live in these bodies at the end of the day. We do live in these bodies that often fear that. But being able to at least know that and remember that and feel that anytime tension or discomfort arises in your body when you're in an expansive new situation, being able to notice that and regulate yourself and drop back into the new identity in a grounded and comfortable way, and remind yourself, yes, this is who I am now. That's how you can move through those periods of discomfort. One simple one that I like doing is literally just like holding myself like this, giving myself a hug. Like if I'm feeling tense in a situation, or like I don't belong somewhere, or I'm feeling insecure or lesser than, I will literally just remind myself physically that I'm safe, that I'm okay. Like I will hold myself. And it's okay. Like I know there's this whole thing about body language and like being open, having your shoulders back and opening up. That is true. But if you're feeling so uncomfortable to the point where you're feeling like I don't fit in here, opening up and like forcing that might just make you feel worse. So sometimes we do need to have a little internal moment with ourselves and be like, it's okay, girl. I know you're uncomfortable, but you do belong here. Nobody here is better than you, and you are better than no one, but we are all equal. There's no need to fear anybody here. Having that moment with yourself then makes it so that you can step back into that confidence and then open up, right? So I'm just talking social situation here, but like that applies figuratively as well to anything, like following through with a creative project, being like, I know this is scary to express and, allow this art to come through you and to think about people seeing it and judging it, but it's okay because we know that we identify with a version of us who finds it more important to express at all, rather than the fear of what people will think of that expression. Yeah, I mean, also, I'll quickly mention, like, I do find that anytime I feel called to sit down and record a video is always when I've spent the day listening to my intuition. Small daily actions all add up ultimately to get you to the space where you are the most aligned. And imagine what would happen if every time there was one of those decisions to be made, right? To go to the gym or not to go to the gym, to get out of bed or not get out of bed, to talk to that person or not, to give that person that compliment or not, to honor what you need or not, ultimately is what it comes down to. Imagine if you always made the decision that you knew you actually needed, and you regulated your nervous system in the times where it might feel uncomfortable because it's expansive. Imagine where you would be in even just a week, literally even in just a week, and then a month, and then a few months, and then a year. Your life would be different. There's no way it wouldn't be. So, food for thought. That's what I'll leave you with. Anyway, I'm gonna enjoy my cacao and my fruit bowl. Yeah, anyways, thank you so much for being here. If you made it to the end of the video, comment down below a strawberry emoji. And yeah, let me know if this message resonated. I would love to hear from you guys. And I'm just so excited to be sitting down and recording videos for this channel again, because this is my space to just get into flow state. And I always leave recording these videos on such a high. And to whoever's watching this also, that's how you know that something is for you. When you feel high from it, when you feel fulfilled, when you feel a full cup after you've been writing music for hours or painting for hours or writing your book, whatever it is for you, when you leave, oh my God, that's so annoying. When you leave doing that thing, feeling like you're in this high, that is how you know it's for you. Emotions exist for a reason. You feel good about certain things and bad about other things for a reason. And the intelligence of emotion is not appreciated much in this society. I made a whole other video about that, about the wounded divine feminine and how it is rising. And it's so important for us individually to get in tune with that divine feminine as well. Anyway, I'll link that somewhere if anyone wants to watch that. Maybe that came through for a reason. Anyway, I'm gonna actually stop talking now, and I'm gonna go and enjoy my cacao and my little strawberry bowl, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for being here. Also, welcome to any new people on the channel. I really appreciate anybody who subscribes to the channel. And I'm so excited to just get to know you guys better and to get more in tune and to just grow this community more. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna stop talking. I'm gonna go now. I love you guys. I will see you in the next video.